I've worked with kids for almost 6 years now in this type of environment. But having children, I've worked with kids for most of my life. In this specific facility, I've been here for almost 3 years. I think the most rewarding is watching the growth. And I mean growth with the kids, growth with the parents, and honestly growth with you guys. Because I can watch from the beginning of a semester to the end of the semester and kind of watch you guys change. Your opinions change about these types of facilities and nonprofit work. But watching the kids learn something, watching them grow or get excited about learning, makes it all worthwhile.
My name is Karen Chance. I'm the social worker in the emergency department at High Point Regional, and I also do the nursery cases. And I've been in this job for over 20 years. This setting, in a medical setting, a social worker comes in. You got your medical staff that's looking at the medical condition of a patient, and the social worker may be called in to look at what the social ramifications are that surround that patient and how that may be playing into the patient's manifestation of physical symptoms. That goes for infants all the way up through death. In a setting like the Boys and Girls Club, which is an excellent organization here in High Point, they're afforded the opportunity to see these children day after day, like if they're in the after-school program. So they're able to establish relationships, hopefully some trusting relationships, and as those relationships build and the trust builds, hopefully those children are opening up more and more to the counselors, the volunteers, whoever's there.
Well, our children have a wide range of backgrounds and socioeconomic surroundings, so each kid is very much individualized. You've probably got to know a few when you're here, and you can just see they're all very, very different kids. So the impact is different for each child. That's just the best way to word that. The impact for one may be that they are getting homework help where they can't get that at home. The impact for others, I have had kids that have started in this program homeless, and it's super exciting to watch them get a home and watch them thrive, and then a year later they're still thriving and things are working well. I've got kids that come from what I would consider middle to upper middle class backgrounds, that just watching them make friends because they may have had something made them shy, or a speech impediment or something. So everybody's is different. I haven't had a child that was being abused that it wasn't known before they came here. So far, I've not had to report anybody for suspicion of abuse. But there are children that are going through therapies or have been through something, and even if their parents don't tell us, we can usually figure it out pretty quickly. to remedy the situation is we don't put them in a place that makes them uncomfortable, because a lot of times that's a big hard part of getting through the process, is finding comfort around folks again. So if they were abused by a male, for example, they may shy away from any male staff members, and we just don't put them in that situation. We have kids that are going through therapy, and I don't want them to feel punished. So what we've done is we've invited their therapist to conduct their therapy here in this building. So they may pull them out of an activity for a few minutes, but the kids really aren't missing a whole lot, because they'll go right back to activity, versus a parent having to pick them up, take them to a doctor's office, then bring them back, and they've missed a whole day or a half a day. So we've taken steps to try to support them as much as we can when we know what's going on. If I had to put a blanket on it, I think the majority of it comes from the situations that the parents are in. But oftentimes those situations are generational. So they may be the third generation removed that's been in the same situation. They don't know any different. So now the kids don't know any different. I think the majority of what I've seen come through here has been less of the physical violence type of abuse and more of a neglect situation.
There's all kind of abuse. For all the child abuse referrals that are made, I would say maybe 10% are actually physical abuse. The other ones have to do with neglect, not providing the care, or even if a baby is born positive to heroin, they consider that neglect, because as mom did that heroin, she neglected that she was pregnant. So then now the child, we've got physical proof that the child is being affected by mom's drug use.
And again, it's lack of resources, it's lack of training. We have parents that are becoming parents way too young. So you got kids raising kids, and they've never really been taught how to parent. So to me, it's less intentional. I think it's more of a just not knowing.
I think the healthier the interactions and the relationships are from the date of birth throughout is about the only way that you're going to be able to prevent that type of chaos from creeping in.
I think with the community, we need to put a face to it. I think the problem is that you can pass by a child at any point in time that's being abused and never recognize the signs if you've not been made aware, if you've not had any kind of training to be alert for it. So kids are falling through the cracks. I think that it takes a village. I think that everybody should be cognizant of what's going on with all the children around them, whether it's your neighbor's children, your nieces and nephews, the kids down the street. Just pay attention to what they're doing, because the signs are usually there. Again, I think we are really good at recognizing what a kid has been through before they ever tell us, because we start seeing the signs. When it comes to awareness with the parents, they just need some training. They need to be taught where the resources are to get the help that they need. You know, I don't think a parent ever sets out when they have a child to say, they're going to frustrate me to the point that I hit them, or I'm not going to have enough money to feed them, or I'm going to let drugs take all of my resources to where that comes first instead of my kids. I don't think anybody ever sets out that way. But if they don't know what hands are out there to help them get out of it, then they're just going to keep following the easier path. You know, what's the path of least resistance.
I believe that it starts at birth. I believe if you've got healthy services that can be put into place, like when a baby's born in this hospital, there is a set of nurses that make home visits following every Medicaid birth in the county. So that's the beginning of something positive. They are talking about how the baby should be developing, what the developmental stages are. Then there's a program called CC4C that can pick up from there and follow them up to age 5. There's all kind of supports for new young mothers. Education is the key. If anybody has history of depression prior to getting pregnant and giving birth, you know, we need to have that conversation about postpartum depression. And it looks different, and it's a physical thing, and you're not crazy. And if this happens, you can do this.
It's not just the education, which, you know, I'm really big on homework help, as y'all can tell, and getting them the education, the stuff to help them be successful. But it takes so much more than that. It takes character development classes. And that's not to say that we don't think parents can teach their children character. It's that we would like to help them with additional resources. Things like as stupid as this sounds, things like just manners and how to speak to somebody and how to behave in a public place, how to be still when it's not always easy, when there's distractions. We do health and fitness and lifestyle type classes. We've got gardens growing, and we're introducing them to vegetables they may or may not have had a chance to have. Our kids are hungry. Truthfully, that's a lot of this behavior stuff that you see, specifically in little kids, is they went from having snack every couple of hours or eating when they want to, because for kids who didn't have preschool, they're home until they go to kindergarten. They don't know how to do that, and they don't know how not to nap, and they don't, so we help with all that kind of stuff. And then we do additional programs for the parents to give them resources. We do free income taxes here that kind of gives them a little help with that. We offer some fitness classes. We're offering adult sports leagues. Like some of the parents will come in here and just ask us, this is my need, do you know anybody? And we try to stay on top of what those resources are. But I'm blessed, I'm fortunate, I have the Salvation Army behind me. We have food pantry, we have a homeless shelter for women and families, the only homeless shelter in High Point that takes children. We have clothing opportunities for clothing vouchers through our thrift stores. We try to assess all of the needs and cover for the whole family. And then we have a senior citizen living place here as well. So when you're on a fixed income and you're a senior citizen, we've got somewhere for you to go. So we try to help with all the resources they may need, not just what the kid needs at that moment for after school care.
It is the law that you make a referral to Child Protective Services, and you make that referral to the county in which the child resides. And if you're not comfortable reporting it, then you need to call one of the resource agencies like Family Service Crisis Line. You can call me, and we can walk you through the steps. You don't have to give your name if you make a report. They can take it as an anonymous report. When they screen their referrals, they're looking for specific things that meet the statutes of child abuse or neglect.